Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another wonderful time here on Variant Rules. And today we are playing Desperados with Jordan GMing again. We're just going to do a little two-shot. You may notice we've had a little bit of a blip. That is, I can take my hat off. I'm not a character right now. I'm just me. We had a little bit of a blip while Addison had his lovely baby boy. But we're back now for a little bit, and then we're going to be back with a new show that's of a proper length at some point in the future. So I will stop rambling, and I will pass it off to the wonderful GM for these two sessions. Jordan, please take it away and tell the people about what we're doing today, what we're playing. Please, my friend.
Thank you very much, Ben. So, as we said, we are today going to be playing Desperados, the pen and paper game. Desperados, obviously based upon the video game. They've made a pen and paper adaptation, which is really cool setting. And yeah, we're going to just run through a starting scenario for that and see how that goes. So, I'll introduce the characters and the players in a moment, but just to set the initial scene of where we are, we start this little two-shot adventure. As seems to be a theme with my campaigns, we're going to start on a train.
You love a train.
I do love a train. So all your characters find themselves in the passenger car of this sort of early steam-powered locomotive train. It's moving across the sort of wide open dust lands of this area. It's noon currently this time of day, so the sun is absolutely beating down. You know, the sort of cliche desert images. That's kind of what we're seeing now. The only noise you can really hear is obviously the train chugging along. So coming through, obviously this, like say, it's a passenger car, sort of tables and sofas either side with like the carriageway in the middle. And we zoom in on the table and we'll start with Nathan. Nathan, please tell us who you are, first of all, and who your character is.
So I'm Nathan. I go by Cernade on pretty much everything now, mostly Twitch. I am playing Dr. Arnold Foster, Dr. A. Foster. I am a learned man. Knowledge is my main tool, but I've recently stumbled upon some books on dark magic and voodoo. So perhaps I'll be making use of them to cause some havoc in this weird Western world. That's me.
Maybe you will, sir. So next we'll go on to our special guest for this two-shot adventure, Naomi. Thank you again for joining us. And please let us know who your character is.
Hi, I'm Naomi. I'm very excited to be back. I'm playing Marianne, who's the daughter of a rancher. She's very naive, very sheltered. It's very exciting leaving the ranch for the first time. But she's very good with... using the trapper template for the character. So she's good with her weapons and her animal calls and things like that.
Very good. And finally, we have our host. And oh my god, guys, I actually get to say the thing. Ben, stick your hat on and tell us who you are.
Well, howdy. Name's Ace. Ace of Hearts. And I'm a little gambler on this train. I know I'm here mostly to swindle the townspeople out of their hard-earned money, because it does much better in my pocket. Yeehaw, as they say.
This system is so cliche. One of the things I love about this game is it says take every cliche you know about the Wild West and just like dump it. So yes, please, all of those from now on, please, everyone. So that's our little band of a little sort of mismatched ragtag bunch that have come together on this journey. Currently, they're moving through the landscape on this train on the way to the city of Genoa. And as I said, it's sort of a very wide open. There are some hills that you can sort of see, sort of like rocky outcrops that are present in the background. And obviously, you can feel the motion of the train going along. And if you're sort of just sat there idly, sort of looking out the window, you'll notice sort of at one point, like there'll be someone appearing off the horizon. There'll be a rider that's sort of coming up cresting over a sort of ridge that's coming out and sort of making their way towards the train. And then almost at the same time as you notice then, you start to feel the train slow down a bit. You notice that the rhythm isn't quite as rhythmic and it's starting to the speed is definitely starting to decrease notably. And the more you sort of realize that and you look, you notice that there's a second rider and a third and a fourth. And then all of a sudden there is a sea of riders that are coming parallel to this train as it slowly moves to a halt. And if you look out the other window, you can see on the other side as well, there is 2 groups of riders converging on the train. And eventually, the train comes to a stop, and the 2 groups of riders come to rest either side of the train. And they all start to dismount. And they've all got sort of rustic leathers on. Some of them are wearing like the thick cloth ponchos. They've got large low brim hats. They've got bandanas tied around their faces. And they all start pulling guns and starting to board the train at various points. Anything you want to say in the moment?
Ace of Hearts has got like a crystal glass in his hand. It's like half full of like rye whiskey, and he's kind of just like leaning and waiting to the door to cheers them as they come through. Oh,
there we go. Sorry. Very good. So, as I've said, the train has stopped. You can see these riders coming on. All of a sudden, you hear the door at the end of your carriageway open. It's not empty, by the way. You're not the only ones here. There are a few other passengers, and they're sort of very stunned shrieks. 2 figures step through the door at the end. You can sort of see them from where you're sat at the far end of the carriageway. There is an older man there, again, with a sort of quite a burly, large man with a leather bandolier across his chest. And he's holding a pistol in his hand. And then you see a much younger, much slimmer man, probably only sort of late teens age, that comes in behind him. And the older man goes, "Right, folks, you know how this works. We're not here to harm any of you. We're just here to relieve you all of all your valuables. So, as I said, you probably had this happen before. So if you could just, and he kind of waves the pistol in the air, just make this a little bit easier on us so we can all go about our days. Come on now." And he cocks the gun for effect and starts to walk down the carriageway, sort of. He's taking the lead, and then the younger man behind him. And he sort of stops at the first set of, like, table that there. Again, it's sort of these cliche, like, group of women in these large, sort of flowing dresses with, like, big necklaces on and little hats. And they're all, like, the white gloves, and they're sort of, like, shaking as they look. And he sort of stops with them. He looks back to his companion and he goes, "I got these. You go and take care of them, folks." And he points over his shoulder at you guys. And you can see the younger man kind of look towards you with his rifle in his hands, and he sort of takes a big breath. He's almost, if you can imagine, he's almost like psyching himself up for it.
Now, boy, you look nervous.
"Shut your mouth!" And he points his rifle at you. And he starts to walk towards you with a bit more purpose to him.
"Boy, you don't need to use that big gun. Don't be nervous on the day you're gonna die."
He sort of stutters a bit and looks over his shoulder back at the man who's not interested in who's not looking at him anymore. He's now only looking at the women he's dealing with. So he looks back at you and he points his gun at you, and you can see he's got a bit of a shake to him now almost. He's like, "You heard him. Empty your pockets onto the table."
"Professor, didn't you say we were going to kill a shaky man today?"
I sort of got my nose buried in my book. And look up and go, I'm so sorry. Very, very engrossed. Trains, fantastic things. Perhaps fantastic. What's going on, sorry?
"You used your voodoo magic. You told us we were going to kill a shaky man today. Doesn't he look very shaky?"
No, it's not voodoo magic, okay? It's a very offensive term for some people. It's a science, okay? And also that's my own private books. I would prefer it if you didn't go around shouting to people about my own personal research. But yes, I did look up at the young lad. "I'm sorry, boy, but I did predict that we were going to kill a shaky man today. Luckily, are you a man?"
What? And he at that point he kind of turns the gun on you, and he's like, "What are you talking about? All this talk of the voodoos and magic and what?"
This
and
is
he moves. He pushes the barrel in your face at this point.
Yeah, I'm literally cross-eyed looking at. This is quite the rifle. You should be careful though. You know these ones are prone to misfiring, right? You could slip any second. Just take your eye out. You really be careful with this one. although it's quite fine craftsmanship. So I'm just going to take the end of it very gently, like not threatening. Although, fine craftsmanship on this one. I've not seen one like this in this area.
You
Where'd
hear
you
a
get
call
this?
from down the carriageway. The older man is sort of calling over his shoulder. How you doing down there, boy?
He's
Fine,
doing
look-
fine. He's doing fine. You keep going. He'll go make you
And as
proud.
he
Don't
look-
worry.
The young man does kind of turn his head away from you at that point and looks towards the other man just to see again for a bit of support.
How
Bless
many-
him, it's
is
his
it-
first
Can
one.
I-
Is it just him and his dad on the carriage?
It's just him and the other guy. Yeah, he's not looking.
Okay,
at the
as
other
soon
guy.
as he turns away, I just put my repeater up to his chin and fire. Because I'm like stood right next to him, right?
Okay then, right, we're going that way, are we? So,
I don't
yeah,
be robbed.
do you want to make me a range combat check?
I
you've got-
would love to do that if you tell me exactly what I need to do for that.
Absolutely. So if you in this system, it's a 3d6 system. So if you roll 3d6 for me, and then we'll add the numbers that you roll together, and that will basically determine the likelihood of success.
So it's a 10 altogether, and then what do I add for my
So if you've
range
got, are you
combat?
trained in range combat?
I am, yeah.
So you add your agility score to that.
So that would be 14 all in all.
14 total. Yep, that will do it. So that's that's a success. You've beaten essentially his difficulty level for that attack, and because he's a mook, he only has 1 hit point. You've stuck a gun in his chin and shot him. He's gonna die. So as you say, so you put your repeater under his, just sort of under his chin here, and you fire, and this loud gunshot rings out, and obviously the older man turns around and goes, "What the hell?" And he looks, and he doesn't sort of get blown backwards. He just kind of stands there. He drops his rifle and turns, looking at the older man, and just sort of. He's sort of, you know what's happening. He's sort of choking, kind of holding his neck, and he just kind of slumps to his knees and then falls face first.
So I had my hands on his weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay, if you're holding it securely, I mean, were you holding it like gripping
yeah,
it?
so
Or were you just
I was holding the barrel at least. So I'd like to this kind of look like one smooth movement. As Ben goes to shoot him, I want to grab the rifle and shoot down the train at the other guy.
Okay, yeah, I'll let you do that. So yeah, do you want to do the same kind of check for me then, a range combat?
Yeah, let's do it. That is 12, 13, 14, 15 with my range combat ability.
Yes, again, that is a success. So once again, you, in a very describe to me what this looks like, because this sounds like a pretty cool move to me.
Yeah, so I've still got I've still got a book in this hand, but I've got my hand on my sort of like hand wrapped around the barrel as I'm inspecting the weapon, and I just see Ben's sitting next to me. Ben's character sitting next to me. He reaches. I feel him move to pull his revolver out. So I already know, it's going down because I feel him shuffling. As I just see the glint of the revolver come across, I've then reached to the handle of the gun, and almost like we've trained this a million times, but we haven't. We're just cool. Ben's pulled his trigger. I have not even looked at the poor lad, and I've basically just stood over his body as this young lad's choking on his blood going down, pulling the trigger, going down the train, and almost within seconds from each other, we've heard bang, bang from down the train, and
Very good. So yeah,
both bodies hitting the ground.
that man sort of turns and looks, and as this other young lad sort of holding his neck collapses in front of him, and he just stares, holding his pistol. You pop up from behind the chair, holding the young man's rifle, and just below it, he does get blown backwards because what he was holding was actually a shotgun, not a repeater rifle. So he just get blown backwards across, sort of sprawls across the chair where these ladies are sat, and you just hear them scream. I'm not going to scream on stream because my family are downstairs, but you know what happened. But so you see that, and then all of a sudden you kind of hear from outside. There's still some gangers that are sort of outside. You see them out the window, and they start to organize themselves. Basically, they've heard some gunshots. They've seen you in the window holding this rifle, and they start to basically organize themselves.
Now, Miss Mary Ann, can I interest you in some violence?
Is this what happens? Yeah. But who's next?
Well, those miscreants outside, I believe, need a, what did my mama used to say, whooping. Will you join me, Professor?
I mean, I sort of look down at the shotgun and go, sort of cock it and go. I think we're in the thick of it now.
Excellent. With me, and he like gestures for you to follow him like it looks like he's in like a theatre like showing someone their seat, but he's like clearly getting you to go to kill people.
This way to the violence.
This way to the violence, please. And he racks his repeater.
Very good.
As we go past the guy, I'm assuming we're going past the guy that's been shot with the shotgun.
Yeah, so you can walk. You're sort of walking down the train car to sort of get out onto the get out of the train basically.
As I pass him, I'm gonna pick up. I don't know if he's got a bag that he's been putting loot into or whatnot.
Yeah, he's got like a little handheld cloth bag that he's got. Like some of the ladies there are like still like frantically fiddling with earrings and like rings that they can't seem to get off their hands. They keep slipping as if.
I'm going to pick up the bag that's got some stuff in. I'm going to look at... If they've already put bits of jewelry on the table, I'm just going to put my arm on the table, scoop into the bag and go, ladies, and continue with the bag.
Yeah. You unseen to the characters is one of the sort of two older women, and then there's like another younger woman who kind of just looks out after you as you disappear. So yes, I assume you all at that point leap off the train and into the fray, as it were. So we will transition from that little scene into our first tactical combat of this here game, which is, like say, it's basically how we run combat. It's not really an initiative system, so I'll just let you guys go in order of what you want to do. The first little scene we'll have is, as you jump off the train, you can see, very simply, you've got these 5 gang members in front of you, or with their horses kind of... They're not using them for cover or anything, but they're just there for purpose of it. There's a low sort of stone outcrop that's kind of that you could use for cover if you so desire. And just a point of note, as you leave, all 5 of them are turning guns on you. So what do in the immediate moment?
So I'm not going to hop all the way off the train. I'm going to stay on the carriage and like peek out round the corner if I can, if that works for you.
Yeah, so you're using the cover of the carriage basically.
Yeah. Okay,
so you'll start there you'll start in cover then for now. What about you two? Are you jumping off and?
Yeah, I'm going to make a dash for that wall.
Yep. What about you, Marianne?
Yeah, I was thinking much the same. Although, you mentioned they're not using their horses for cover. Does that mean we could use the horses for cover?
Their horses are next to them, but they're obviously with them, so they're sort of 20 feet in front of you, and then this wall is about 5 feet from where you are. So.
Okay, if the wall's closer, I'll go for the wall.
Yeah, that's fine. So as you all will say that you all sort of leap, you like stick your head out, Ace, and then think nope, stick your head right back in again. And the other two are like, oh, wait, and then they've already gone, so they have to then like dive for this low stone outcrop. They get there just in time as you hear a volley of gunfire, several rounds pinging off the stonework, and then a couple bedding themselves into the wood next to you, Ace. And as I say, tactical combat has commenced. What would you like to do, guys?
Ace,
we'll go round. Oh, yeah, Ace, go ahead first.
Okay. Ace just shouts out, "Wait, gentlemen, pick a card."
What does that do mechanically?
Nothing. I'm trying it.
Cool. It does nothing. They don't hear you over the sound of them shrieking and trying to coordinate their attack.
Okay, that's fine.
I will let you do that for free. Is there anything you actually want to do?
I mean, that led to a one-liner, so no. But I'm just going to pop out and shoot. Wrong card is what I was going to say, and then shoot.
They're not really any big distribution. They're sort of a group of them. Like the group of 5 together. So do you want to just aim at like the closest one?
I'm gonna shoot a horse.
You're gonna shoot a horse.
Well, I'm hoping that I'll get all the horses to scatter, and then they'll be out kind of with no cover, right? Because if they're partially defended by the horses, if horses start getting shot, horses are gonna run, right?
Okay, do me a favor then. I just want to check something quickly. Sorry, I'm just trying to think if there's a... What skills do you have? Can I ask?
Empathy, perception, range combat, arts, and conceal.
Make a perception check for me.
I can
Just a
do that for you.
6, and then add to your insight score, I believe, for perception.
3d6 was that?
3d6, and then add on your attribute score for. I'm just checking. Yeah, insight.
18. 18 all in all.
Yep. So what you can notice from your quick little you notice, we'll say from this, that's quite a high score that you've rolled. So we'll notice that in the quick peek out that you've done, what you can see is that one of the gunmen, in the sort of frenzy to scramble for weapons and things, has basically got the horse's rein sort of wrapped around his leg, and he hasn't noticed. So you think that by shooting and scattering the horse, you could essentially take out one of them by having him dragged away by the horses that are fleeing. So that's what you can.
Can I do that then?
That's what you can tell from that. Yeah. So yeah, you can feel free make a range combat check against the horse.
That's 11 plus 4, so 15.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty routine. So you will it's like they're a horse, so they're quite a large target. So you can hit one of the horses, and it's an absolute frenzy. You hear, as soon as you hit the horse, it bucks, it neighs loudly. All of the others get immediately panicked and dart in all different directions. A few of them, like 3 of the guys, sort of start to, oh, what's going on, and start to run. And then one of them hasn't realized there's this leather strap around his leg, and just goes down on the ground as his horse bucks off back towards the ridge, and he's just like flailing around on his back, trying to get some control as he's just being dragged away. However, one of the guys at the front did remain focused. He was in front of all the action and all the horses, so he does get, because it was only a success. Well, actually, I lie. Let me check. Yeah, it was only a success. So essentially, when you have a success, you trade damage with someone.
Okay.
If you're still out, so you would take 1 hit point loss, and you've also taken out one of the 5. So
that's not a great trade, but yeah, okay. Yeah, that's fine.
So that's one of them down. We'll move on now to Marianne. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna go nice and simple and take a shot at the first guy that's in front of us. That's closest.
Yeah, absolutely, you can do that. So yeah, make a range combat check. What's your range weapon that you're using?
I've just got a beat up looking pistol.
Oh yeah, something out of the old store cupboard of the ranch, was it? Oh.
And it's plus agility, yes?
Yeah, plus your agility if you're trained in range combat.
So that is 19 altogether.
Yep, that will definitely do it. The other thing that's happened is, one cool thing about the system is because you're rolling 3d6, if you roll a double on a skill check, you get a grand success. Basically, what that means is you don't take damage. You wouldn't take automatic damage from the success. And we also roll 1d6 on the grand success table, which I am just frantically looking for in the rulebook. Where's the grand success table? Bear with me. Interlude. There it is. I'm going to roll 1d6, and then I'll let you know what happens. Damn. 2 in 1 sweep. So with this attack, you are going to neutralize 2 of the gang members as opposed to just 1. Would you like to describe how that looks from?
It's probably only 1 shot, so would it be really cheesy to kind of shoot through one of the other guys and get someone else behind him?
That sounds really cheesy, but also very cool.
Yeah. So what we'll say is,
I mean, we did say lead into the stereotypes, so.
Oh yeah, like fully. So we've got one of the guys. Say one of the ones that initially went to try and grab his horse has recovered, and he's sort of lifting his rifle towards you, and another one that's behind him is still like trying desperately. He's holding onto the rein. He's trying to vibe his horse, and they are in as you take your shot, they sort of line up perfectly, and it goes through the chest of this one and through, and then you notice the one behind him go limp as well, and again he's just sort of slumped over the horse as it just trots away with him on the back. That is 2 gang members removed, so we only have 2 left now in this first little scenario. So over to you, Professor.
I just wanted to read my damn book. Cock the shotgun, stand up, shooting the nearest one.
Nice one. Yep. So, yep, feel free. Make range combat again. Have you got range combat as well, Nathan?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that is what? Am I getting that right? 13.
Yep. Yeah, that'll hit.
Yeah, plus 3. So
13's enough on its own, so yeah, that'll do. So yeah, you grab another one that's sort of only just recovered. He's heard the sort of brief exchange of gunfire and has recovered his senses and is turning back around. And you want to shoot at him. So yeah, I'll say he goes down, but because again it's only a success rather than a grand success. As he goes down, he does manage to sort of get a shot off at you, and it wings you in the arm, and you take a hit point loss as well. Right, so that's only one guy left now, guys. This is the initial scene. So yeah, back to you, Ace.
So I've got Beguiling Perfume. In lieu of an attack in tactical combat, you may use your Beguiling Perfume to dazzle enemies that are involved in combat. In game terms, this works exactly like an attack, but in the case of a failure or a success, the opponent cannot cause you damage. So, is this just an attack, but I smell good?
So yeah, imagine it's like you're stunning your opponent with it.
Okay, so what happens is Ace, after he fired that shot, went back in. And then we get a close up of him jammed up against the side of this railway cart. And he goes, and he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a silver bottle of perfume and sprays a bunch of stuff on him, dumps it back in his pocket, and then leans out and shoots again because he's using his Beguiling Perfume. Yep.
So yeah, that's fine. So you can use that, and then that makes the opponent that you're targeting. They're basically easier to hit. The difficulty is reduced by 1 to hit.
Oh, is that what it does? Oh, I thought I just didn't take damage if I fuck this up.
You don't take damage for using it, but for shooting.
Also,
okay.
can you do that as well as an attack?
I was wondering.
That is my attack, I think.
Yeah,
we'll
make this in lieu of.
We'll make this a regular attack for flavor then, but. We'll look at that. I think in future, you basically use that on opponents.
This works like an attack. It's a I'm just gonna shoot him then.
Okay.
I thought it was an attack. 12 plus 14, so that must hit, right?
Yep, that does definitely hit.
12 plus, yeah, sorry, 4, but yeah.
Yeah. So once again, you get the Is it? Hang on, let me just check. Yeah, so you'll trade shots with them again. That's again they'll own because it's only a success rather than a grand success.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I get how that works now. Okay.
You see that, so yeah, if you roll a double in that, it's a grand success. If you roll just normally, if you succeed, you essentially trade damage. If it's a failure, you take damage and deal none.
Got it. Yeah, I understand how this works now. That's fine.
Cool. Yeah, no worries.
I have no hit. I've got 1 hit point left.
You can do first aid as an action in combat. You can perform first aid, which I'll give you for free. But yeah, so that's that's those 5 gang members down. That's scene 1 of this little combat. You can now hear. If you all sort of step out now, and you see, and presumably you move out of the train car as well, Ace, and down the way.
Okay.
Yep, I'll let you do this first.
I've got a very obvious gunshot wound, and I'm just fanning it with my hat. I'm like, I'm gonna be honest, I might have taken some shrapnel back there.
Yes, I think I took a hit. Probably shouldn't be so aggressive next time. They really pissed me off.
What about you, Miss Marianne? How about you?
Oh, well, that was exciting. What happens now? Is the train going to carry on, or do we need those horses?
You can hear the sound of more shouts from about 100 foot down, as more gangers seem to be hearing what's gone on and approaching you.
I'm gonna go get those horses. Are there any horses still hanging around, or have they all panicked? And
yeah, they've all scattered, unfortunately.
Is there any reason to not just barricade ourselves up in the train and then just shoot out from the train? Because then we've always got cover, right? And we're in an elevated
again,
position.
when you pop out of cover to shoot, you'll be exposing yourself. But you can have cover from the train.
Now, hear me out, compadres. Why don't we just hide on the train, and then when they come out, we can pop up and shoot their little heads off?
Can we get the train moving again?
I'm not a train driver, are you?
I've read a book.
On train driving or just in general?
Just mechanics in general.
What about you, Miss Marianne? Can you drive a train? He's still like holding his gunshot wound.
Yeah, and you can hear these voices getting louder as they're sort of heading towards you now.
Why don't we continue this conversation inside, as you say? Let's get inside.
He goes after, and he starts lifting up his arm that's got the gunshot wound. He's like, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna head inside and try not to get shot by these new guys.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. So you all go in and you duck. So you presumably do you move into like one of the carriages that's out there, that's in the carriage, and you're looking out the windows basically.
Yeah. Do the
Yeah.
windows have glass
Glass
panes in
ladies.
them? Or...
Yeah, there's basically normal glass windows. Yeah. So
Okay.
cool.
I think you were doing something, Professor.
No, yeah, just as I pass the ladies. Ladies.
They are under the table, absolutely like one of them's catatonic, the other two are just hugging each other and crying. Appropriate, quite
That's
frankly.
appropriate.
Ace like fishes through his bag and tries to find like a little fish hook and then some fishing line. And he's gonna try and like first aid himself.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can make. You don't have medicine, do you? Nobody has medicine as a skill.
No,
do
I
they?
don't have medicine. Does that mean I can't
Cool.
do
Almost
this?
got medicine.
No, you can do it. You just can't use the you can't add the bonus from the skill. So you
Fine.
can still you can definitely try and wrap a bandage around yourself.
15.
That is good. Like that will do it. That is a success
So
for
what-
a first aid check.
So what does
you
that
do
actually
manage-
mean?
You regain 1d3 hit points. So I'll roll a d6 and half the number. You regain 2 hit points.
Oh, nice. That's exactly how many hit points I needed to be on full.
Lovely. So yeah, you immediately regain 1d3. You can only do that once per combat on yourself. So just beware. But obviously we're still in the same combat. So once this is done, you'll be able to do it again in future. It's not like the only time you can do it. But yeah,
Okay.
for now you've managed to grab. Presumably you like grab some of like
He's
fabric
got-
from somewhere.
No,
else.
he's got like a fishing line and a fish hook, and he's like sewed it up, and then he's
He's
like cut it off with his teeth. He's been shot
like-
before. He kind of knows what to do.
Yeah, he's had some bad bets and debts in the past that he's had to run from.
Yeah, I guess that's my action for the first round of combat. So it's you two.
Well, we'll say that happens in the lieu of you. This way. So as you set yourselves up in this cabin, you kind of up and you can take a quick peek just to see what's going on. Carry on.
I did forget to mention. I want to try and make my way to the engine room. I want to try and get the train moving.
Okay, so for now though, are you hold up here trying to defend the like? Are you going to try and deal with this threat like before that?
Nope.
Okay. Are you guys going with him, or are you seeing what happens?
This question is how many of these gangers are coming up behind us?
You want to have a look?
Yeah,
You
I'll
won't
have a
get hit.
look.
You won't take automatic damage from having a look. Just letting you know. But if you do
I'll,
want
like,
to see,
poke my head out, see what's going on.
yep. So what you can see is there are now 6 gang members approaching, but there are only 3 of them, I should say, sorry, that appear to be carrying firearms. The others are carrying cudgels and knives. They're the 4 that are at the front, and then the other 2 that you can see at the back. There's like a sort of large, burly gentleman with 2 bandoliers and a large, long trench coat with a big brown hat on and an eye patch, and he is got very noticeably got 2 large revolvers on his hips, and the other 2 guys that are sort of stood either side of him, they're both armed with rifles. He sort of this man is sort of walking up slowly and looks to be sort of pointing and shouting directions to the others. So that's what you can see from peeking out.
Okay.
What do?
Is this the actual Wild West? Like, are we in like America?
Yes, you're in like the state of. Imagine it is like the state of Arizona.
Okay. I have an idea, but it's probably not going to work.
I'm open to ideas. I love ideas.
Naomi, do you want to do something first before I try something?
I'm worried that you ask that and then have an idea. Are you gonna like shout at him? This is unconstitutional.
I was only gonna kind of come back in and relay that there's only 2 with pistols this time, so it'll be some more fun.
Let me try and calm down our friends. I smash the window out that's like above me, so I could aim out if I wanted to, and I shout through and I go, "This is the Pinkerton Detective Agency. You boys need to put your firearms down."
You get met with a deep and a very loud belly laugh, and go, "Ha ha! People has been looking for me for years. Looks like I found you first. You must be fucking useless."
Now, I've been known to be useless, but your boys didn't say that 10 minutes ago. I hope you didn't like those guys, because they were very dead.
You can hear him. Then they've moved up quite close to you now. Like they're only about 30 feet away, and you can hear them talking. And he looks at one of the guys, and he looks at the guy off to his left, and he goes, "Bring me that one alive. I like his voice."
And then I shout out, "Do you know the bounty on your boss, boys?"
I'll let you do this as an action. Make an empathy check.
Fuck. I'm just... Okay, I can do that. 3d6.
You're really trying. I'm sorry, I can't... There's not a whole lot of...
I'm trained in empathy, so that's... 16.
Yeah, so what we see from this now is...
Oh.
Are we good? There we
Right.
are. No worries. So what we see is there's 3 guys at the front with like the guys that are armed with knives essentially all sort of stop at that point, and they're taken in by your words for sure, and all 3 of them kind of share a look, and the 4th one that's armed with a knife looks at the 3 of them, and he tries to, you see him like push past. Well, you're in cover, but you can see all this unfold. You're watching, and he starts to push past the 3rd one, and he goes to the 1st one, and the 1st one just turns on him and just knifes him in the gut, and he just doubles over in pain. And then the guy that's holding him, looks at the other 2 and goes and nods towards like this large man with the eye patch and the other 2, and both of them kind of look back at him and just charge at those 3 basically, and he flips his off blood-stained knife, and he just stands there defiantly looking. And then what happens is, obviously, they're charging them 2 armed men with knives, so those 2 just get shot. That was quite an impressive action. I've let you do quite a lot there, but I enjoyed the role play you put into that, so I've given you quite a lot for that. But yeah, then
from the side, because I've not looked to see what's happened, I've gone, Did you kill him? Who died?
So yeah, as I say, the 2 that have charged this, not really thinking it through, probably just in a bit of a rage, charged her, and they've both been taken down by the 2 lieutenants with their rifles, and they're just incapacitated on the ground. And the final one, with his knife still, he just he turns back towards the train. He goes, "I'm sorry, man," and he runs back towards he's attacking you again now.
Okay.
So that was your action, Ben. That was, again, I'll let you do that because I liked what that did. Mary Ann, what would you like to do?
Sorry, I dropped out for a second there. The guy with the trench coat and the bandoliers and everything, he's still hanging around, yeah?
Yeah, he's still up. He's the one that seems to be the coordinator.
I would like to take a shot at him, please.
Oh, go on then, yeah, why not? Firing at him with your old pistol. Oh, yes. Look at you rolling at least one double. That's like the triple. What's your range combat? What's your agility as well?
5.
Oh, so, yeah, 17 definitely hits. And it's another grand success. So you're getting some beginner's luck here, I think.
I will take
Or
that.
Marianne. So let me scroll halfway back through the book to find that grand success table again. Where is it?
I like the fact that Marianne's like fresh off the metaphorical bus and is just taking everyone out.
Oh, it's that years of training shooting on the ranch, right?
This is a great first time. First time out of the town. It's very exciting.
People are
That's
much
fun.
easier to hit than rats.
Yeah,
Nice
apparently
one.
so.
You ever seen how
you
fast a
have-
deer run? A person's so easy.
So that was a 5 on the grand success table, which is an ability called Out of My Way, which basically means you don't another character that makes an attack this round won't suffer any damage, whether it's a success or failure. So what happens? You take a shot at this sort of large burly man with the eye patch, and he kind of takes it in the shoulder. You see him turn, whereas everyone else tends to be going down with one hit. He just kind of looks back and sort of like you can hear him grunt and just kind of shrug it off. He's probably a little bit more burly than the other guys that he's got with him. But yeah, no, he's taking a hit for sure, and it shows. But
So at that point, I'm probably going to turn around to the other guys that are poking out the carriage and then go, "What do I do if they don't die? Do I keep going?"
I think you just keep shooting them till they die. I think that's kind of the point.
Okay.
Or they
Great.
kill each other. and then at that point he finally peers out. He's like, well, I killed 2 of them.
nice one. So what are you doing at this point, Nathan?
So, upon hearing Ben's initial, Ace's initial persuasion, I was quite intrigued and also worried that they were just going to open fire on us. So I ducked into the nearest, compartment, I guess. I don't know if you want. I mean, I was making my way down the train, but I only got to like the next carriage, so I'm still kind of like in range of things. And I ducked into the nearest carriage and took out my my dark book. This is like a big leather-bound, like patchwork leather, and I'm going to open it up. I'm just rapidly flicking through pages, going something, and yes, and then I'm going to pull my blowpipe out of the spine of the book, and I'm just going to peek up, and the two lieutenants are still there, right? And I want to blow dart both of them, casting connect.
So you blow dart one of them, you would target one of them, but you would connect both of them. Is that how that works, or?
Connect
You
works
target
exactly
one of-
like yeah, that's right, yeah. But in the
So you
case
target
of
one
failure
of them and then
success,
you
the opponent
choose-
card could damage.
Yeah. So you target one of them and you choose someone to be linked to. Is that? I think that's how it works.
On a
But yeah, no.
success, you manage to use your blowpipe, and so it's one attack, but I shoot 2 opponents basically.
Yeah, that's fine then. So yeah, feel free. Give me a ranged combat check.
And this says I can do it from cover, which means I assume they
Yeah.
don't
So
get...
you would it's essentially you don't have to like peek out. You're not attacking, so it's like you're using an ability almost.
That's 14, 17 with my agility for range combat.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So you pop out with your little blowpipe. Sort of their attention is focused further down, like you're much closer to them, so they're definitely not looking at sort of expecting anything from you. Are you kind of stood in front of them, or have you sort of moved past and?
So I've kind of moved past. So I'm at like a bit of an angle to them now. I would have had, so they might not be in their exact field of view. I see them both hit, but nothing immediately happens. I'm just going to duck back down a little. I mean, I've only just peeked up, and just to myself, just go looking at my notes. Did it work?
So yeah, what you do notice though is that like before you would duck back down, you see you shoot both of them. So both of them, like, you feel these sort of like they think they tap the backs of their necks as if they've just been stung by an insect. But then what you notice as you sort of move is their movements almost become synced. Like they've both taken this dart, and then all of a sudden they both both of their hands return to their weapons in the same exact time. It's almost eerie how they're suddenly moving almost as one. But that's what you notice before you duck back down.
Awesome.
It's a nice one. So that's what you do, and then we can move back to Ace. What are you doing? You've peeked out now. You've seen your little action. You've still got one guy with a knife who's just like, I'm more scared of him than I am of you, and he's still like he's close now. He's like, let's imagine he's like at the base of where the window where you are, and he's like got his hand on it, ready to pull himself up.
I pop back out, aim at the one of the lieutenants, and fire.
Cool. So go ahead again. Range combat from you, please.
Excellent. 3d6. 13 plus 4. So
Definitely gonna hit them. So which one are you aiming at?
Just either of the lieutenants is fine, right? Because they'll.
Yep. So they're both standing either side of the eye patch individual, and yeah, and one of them, you say you hit one of them in the chest, and he kind of like just very quickly like looks down and sort of like crumples, and then the other one sort of instinctively moves in front of his boss, but then you notice after a few seconds he kind of starts to breathe heavily, and he sort of starts to sweat a bit, and you see him sort of holding his chest in the same place where you'd shot the other guy. He's like, and he's a look of just confusion and just fear on his face, and he struggling to breathe as well, and he after a few seconds also falls and is non-moving on the ground, and this man is looking you down, like he starts kicking him from behind. And so, what? But
I look down at Knife Gun and go, "You sure?"
So because it was only a success, again, there was no grand success there. So Knife Guy will swing up with his knife and take a slash at you, dealing a hit point of damage.
Guess so.
Drop back down. Yeah, so you can pull back and return sort of inside the carriage, but as he you get a glancing blow on you as he moves, and he's now like up on the same level, like still outside the carriage, but he's pulled himself up, so he's now level with you. Marianne, back to you.
I would like to use Animal Call. So still going for the guy with the eye patch.
Okay, yeah. So you're still
This
you're still sort of focused on him, yeah?
Yeah. So in lieu of an attack in tactical combat, you may make an Animal Call. This works exactly like an attack, but in the case of a failure or success, the opponent can't cause damage.
Mm-hmm.
If your roll succeeds, you may move one opponent in any direction you like. Essentially, did you say he was on a horse?
So yeah, he is. He's on a horse. For the purpose of this, he's on a horse.
So I want to kind of use the kind of life on the ranch type thing and basically try and spook this horse or something.
Yeah, sure. Make your roll. Have you got what skills do you have? Because I'll make this a.
I have athletics, survival, ranged combat, horsemanship, and perception.
I'll let you add your horsemanship for this, because this is literally trying to command a horse. So.
Nice. You might have to remind me what stat that comes under.
Yeah, I believe horsemanship is M. I think it might be insight. Let me double check.
It's agility or wits.
So wits. We'll call it wits for this purpose.
Okay, so that's 4. So 17.
Yeah, that will definitely work. So which direction would you like to send this man's horse, essentially? What would you like to do with this man's horse?
I think just further away, so it essentially just takes him longer to get to us.
Okay, so let's imagine
if he's coming alongside the train, kind of veering off further away.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we imagine like he's just seen his 2 lieutenants sort of fall in front of him, and he's now starting to pick up the pace sort of towards where you are, and all of a sudden, yeah, he sort of veers where he was focused before. This horse all of a sudden it seems to be sort of struggling, fighting with the reins a bit. Like, where are you going? He's veering away from the train. His attention is kind of more focused on that now. Awesome. So, Nathan, back to you. I've forgotten your character's name. Sorry, you have to remind me.
I'm Dr. A. Foster.
Dr. A. Foster. What are you? So he's moved away from you, but say for purposes of this, he's like in between the two of groups. So you're both here, and he's now moving away from you, but he's currently equidistant.
And the knife guy is still on the outside of the train.
The knife guy is down the other guy. He's still on the outside, but he's now down in front of the other two. You can't really see him from where you are because he's like right along. Like there are things blocking your immediate line of sight to him.
I was considering hanging out of the window to shoot him, but I don't think that's wise. Well, initially, I've got my book open still, and I see the two lieutenants go down, and I just go, ha! It fucking worked! It worked! Nice! Did you see that? It worked! I'm just gonna shut the book and kiss it, but like, ooh, it's got like a nasty smell. So now I'm just gonna, in my excitement, I'm gonna stand up and quite wildly just shoot the shotgun out the window at the main guy.
Nice. The effect from the grand success from before carries over, so you won't take any automatic damage from this even on a success. So yeah, make your range combat check.
Oh, should I have taken damage then?
Oh,
you did from the knife guy.
That's only a 10.
Yeah, but from
But
Naomi's...
it's got double. That go?
Say again, sorry.
So I got a 10, but it's with double ones.
So what's your range combat? Oh, it's 10. 10 total.
Yeah, 10 total.
Yeah, 10 unfortunately misses. You're aiming
That's
at the horseman.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shotgun. It's not very good range, and he's veering away, so
Yeah,
makes sense.
that's important. Yeah, so in your blind excitement, having just like from the ability that you have, like the ability that you've just successfully utilized, you are again. It is just a wild sort of blind fire, and you. Oh, right. No, you have to aim the shotgun.
Shit.
Yeah, so we'll go back. What were you saying before? Sorry, Ben, I missed what you were saying.
Didn't Naomi have a thing that means that I don't have to take damage? Did she get like get out of my way or something?
Oh yes, that would have. Okay, yeah, you yeah. Well, sorry, because that would have happened in the round, of course. Sorry, that's my oversight.
That's good. Can I keep the hit point? It's just if I didn't have 3 hit points, I wouldn't be that conservative with them. But considering I have 3, can I have my hit point back, please?
You can have We'll let the ability. We'll do that slightly backwards. But yeah,
right,
so
sorry,
we're back to you now. So this guy. So just a point of note. Obviously, the guy on the eye patch is not leaving the combat. He's still involved. He had a momentary glimpse of his losing control of his horse, but he's regained it now. We're back in a new round, and he's now regained that control. So he's definitely back on the track. But obviously, we'll start again. We've still got the guy with the knife in front of the cabin. He's a few feet away from you because he's not quite got him come inside yet. So,
son, drop your goddamn knives. Don't make me kill another one of you.
Do you want to make that a skill check to try and convince him, or are you just telling him?
I would try and make it kill us. I said kill, so I'm going for a kill check.
Yeah, kill check.
That's 15.
That'll definitely hit, even without the modifier.
Cool.
And yeah, because he is carrying a knife and not a ranged weapon, he does not get automatic damage because it's a ranged encounter.
Yep.
So yeah, how do you describe what this looks like? He's standing up, precariously balanced on the outside of the train. What does it look like?
I look at him and I go, drop you. Fuck it, and I just fire and shoot him.
And he just flies backwards. You know, very sort of cliche, flies sprawling with his arms wide. But as he falls down, you see silhouetted behind him as his body drops away. You do see the figure moving. Now same again, determined. He's regained control and he's moving back towards you, and he has both pistols drawn. Marianne, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go back to doing what I'm told and keep shooting until he dies.
Lovely. Try again for us. Yep. So that's. I mean, yeah. Even without the modifier, that's a success.
Yes, 19.
Yeah, so as you go to aim and shoot again, what is your ranged weapon again? Is it just the pistol still?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you sort of very precariously, two-handed, pull the hammer back, focus in, pull the trigger, and you wing him again on the other side. But he drops one of the pistols, flies out of his hand, but he's still staying on his horse. And in that sort of brief moment, he levels his other hand at you and fires and gets a very similar glancing blow on your shoulder. So that's a single hit point traded damage. And we are back to Professor A. Foster. You can see sort of a little bit further down the way, but you can still see him heading back in towards the train. So,
okay. I initially think of taking a shot with a shotgun, but I immediately realise that I'm out of shells and it's not my gun. So I dash it down below my feet. I'm going to pull out my trusty slingshot with metal ball bearings. I'm just going to lean out the window, pull it back, and try and take him off the horse.
Very good. Ranged combat, please. And
that is
plus
16.
Yes, that will take it over the threshold. So, again, this is going to do it. So, describe what happens.
So, this slingshot is actually I've got like a nice cane, and the top of the cane split into two, and that's where the slingshot sits. So I'm just leaning out, one hand on the cane, just pulling back, eyeing it nicely, and as I loose it, he's not looking my direction because I'm off to the side. He's obviously focused on your carriage, and just last second, he just hears the tight leather / rubber, letting go, and then just as he turns, just metal ball bearing right in the middle of his head, knocking him backwards off his horse.
Oh, and he just goes absolutely sprawling on the ground. His horse slows to a trot and just he's like shakes its head, a bit confused. And then, you notice, you look out, you all peeking out of the train car. You do see he's not moving, and there is a silence that falls, apart from the crying that you can hear from one of the seats sort of behind you. And there is no more sound of any horse hooves, no more sound of any gunshots or shouting. It seems like you're all in the clear.
I lean out of the carriage, like very awkwardly, like lean out and I go, "Professor, good job!"
Did I do it? Did I get him?
I believe you did. And then I noticed that I'm like covered in the knife guy's blood. I'm like, yeah. I mean, we're going to need to get new shirts, but you did it. Congratulations.
Did you say there was a bounty on this guy?
Oh,
Did he get paid?
That was straight up a lie. I'll be honest with you. I don't know who that gentleman is. And then you see him walk over to one of the older dead guy, and they just leaf through his pockets.
The guy that just got killed.
No, do you remember the older guy who we shot? I presume his son, and then we looted the older.
Oh,
guy.
that guy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So looking through his pockets, you can find in the top pocket he's got like an old tiny like a watch, like the sort of old pocket watches, quite rusted. It still works, but the mechanism is obviously a bit old and worn. Maybe probably originally intended to be like gold, but you can tell from the sheen and the rust that it's probably not real gold. And you also find, I'm going to roll this here because why not? $9 on him.
I leave the pocket watch. I obviously pick it up. I inspect it, and then you just see me dash it on the floor, and then I open his wallet, take out the $9. I'm about to fold it, and then I take out a single dollar and put it on the table with all the ladies on. I'm like, "You didn't see who killed these gentlemen, did you, dolls?"
Two of them are just crying still. They're not even paying you any attention. The other one, kind of the younger one, who did kind of give the professor a bit of an eye, sort of looks at them and goes, then just pockets the dollar, folds it up and just, "Your secret's safe with me, honey."
I lick my finger, count the $8, put them in my top breast coat pocket, and then stroll off. And you just see me very obviously looting these people, which I think looks in an RPG isn't weird, but in real life you just saw a guy looting a bunch of dead bodies. You'd be like, "That's fucked." But he's just literally going through everyone's pocket, taking out whatever cash he can, counting it there over their corpse, putting it in. If they've got silver chains with crosses, he's just pulling them off. He's
So with my humanities skill, as I've travelled from town to town, I would have been collecting wanted posters.
Yes.
So I'd like to take out my dossier of wanted posters and see if I can match up any faces to the miscreants we've killed.
So the man that you have killed, strangely enough, not strangely enough, you do find at the very back a very newly added wanted poster, one that you probably only just managed to pick up from the last low destination that you left. And this man goes by the name of Blind Eye Brown. And he is actually not a big time. The reward specifically states that he is not a gang boss. He is a subsidiary. He works for another member, but that's all it specifies. It doesn't specify who he works for, only that there is a reward. There is a much bigger reward for him alive than dead, because then they can find out who he works for, basically. So
But
there is.
Is there a reward for him dead?
There is a reward of $20 for his
Okay.
corpse.
And what would they accept as proof of that?
I mean, probably the body would be good enough. Interesting point of note. As you're all, I'm assuming you've all regrouped and you're now just looting. Are you teaching Marianne the intricacies of this is what you do after you've done all the shooting?
No, so what I'm doing is I'm trying to have a very, casual conversation while I'm, looting the bodies. So I'm like, so how did you get on the train? And then he's like, lovely weather. And he's like, obviously, he's got his, boot on someone's, face as he's, pulling off their boots to see if they would fit him and,
To be honest, I think Marianne would just be like, "Oh, that was good fun, but she wants to go and say hello to the horse. To be honest, it's much more interesting than people."
Yeah, the horse is still stood around, a bit confused, just not really sure.
Yeah, so she'll just go out, kind of calm it down, and she's still a bit skittish, and go, "Oh, aren't you beautiful?" type thing.
Yeah, it'll respond to that, definitely. As all this is going on as well, you do see a man sort of walking down the track towards you. Doesn't look armed or anything. If anything, he looks like a rail worker, and he sort of comes up to you all, sort of leans over, panting. Well, boys, that was something. That was something. I mean, obviously, these guys had planned this quite well. They put some logs across the rail, and I had to stop the gosh darn train. But I mean, do you mind giving me a hand moving them? And hell, I'll get you on to where we're going.
I rub a bloody hand down my shirt and I go, and I look around at all the strewn cups and I'm like, y'all think they planned this well? He's got so many bullets in him. Man, you could use him as a goddamn armorer.
Well, I can't say they certainly weren't counting on you folks. Are you okay to give us a hand with these logs now? This sun is really getting warm, and it's not going to be safe if we stay out here much longer. We got to get this moving, boys. So...
Certainly. But before I move on, I want to take something off of this person that he would be noticed for, so I could try and cash in for this bounty.
Oh, if you say he's got a bounty, I'm just going to drag his whole
maybe.
I'm going to drag his whole bloody body onto the train and sit him up.
I haven't actually told you guys about the bounty.
Oh, okay.
Because I haven't looted anything, so I'm just thinking this is.
You noticed this poster? Yeah, you looked in the book, and there is, again, looking at him, everything that he's wearing is not really distinctive. There's nothing that would really, if you were trying to obviously identify that you've got this person, and plus, if you were to bring them an item of clothing anyway, they would, from obviously all the bounty posters that you've got and the experience that you've had with bounties, that they would probably just be you could have got that from anywhere. I literally don't believe that you've saying what you're saying, because I don't have a that you really, especially if they're dead, you are going to need the body to identify them. So yeah, if the conductor is still pointing you up, obviously towards the front of the train, to give him a hand with the logs. So
I'm gonna need this body for research.
He looks at you and he goes, "Yeah, that tracks." And Ace just goes up and Ace talks like a dandy, but really, he's killed so many people at this point in the West, he doesn't give a fuck. The professor says he needs a body for research, he's sure, whatever. He grabs him by, he doesn't even, try, pick him up in, I think if you've played Batman Arkham Asylum, you like drape him over his arms. He doesn't do that. He grabs his shirt and he drags the guy to the train, like heaves him up. He walks, like drags him past those ladies, props him up in a chair, and then like he does a thing so it looks like he's doing this, like the corpse is doing this, even though as soon as the train starts he's gonna fall. He just does it for himself. And then how much money have I looted from all these guys?
We'll say for the sake, the actual low-level gangers didn't have anything on them in terms of actual like hard cash, but you've got like a couple of timepieces. You've got a fancier one from one of the lieutenants. They'll probably fetch about $5 total.
$5 total. Okay. Oh God, math.
But you will have to like go and find somewhere to sell them. You won't be able to just like give them to a barkeep and go, "Give me beer for this."
Okay, so I've got $8 and then $5 in.
Yeah.
In stuff. Okay. I'll give each person a timepiece and then everyone $2, and then I'll keep whatever's left after that.
So everyone's got like a little pocket watch now.
Yeah, and I $2 to each of them.
Are you keeping the fancy pocket watch? This one is like the one that you've got of one of the lieutenants. It's got a little bit of weight to it. It's very, very well kept, and it's definitely got a shine to it.
So what you see is if he finds that, Ace picks out his own shittier pocket watch and he throws that and he attaches this dead man's pocket watch in his thing. If he's found boots that fit him that are slightly nicer, he's sat down on the ground, taken his own boots off, wrestled the boots off a dead man, put those boots on, then stood up and dusted himself off and tried to look at himself in whatever glass he could find. And then he'll go and help free the train from the locks.
Yeah, that's fine. So all in all, we'll say you spend about an hour like getting everything organised and clearing the tracks and then getting everything set up so that you could crack on again. It's getting very, very hot during the day now. You're in sort of 2:00 in the afternoon, so it's definitely like you're starting to feel it. And then the conductor sort of, thanks to you, gets back on the train and you eventually feel it start to pick up a bit of speed again. And yeah, you're in the slightly less tranquil and picturesque. Like the scenery is the same as it was, but obviously now there are no windows and the car smells like blood.
There's a random corpse on the table opposite.
Yeah, there's just a random like propped up corpse on the table.
I like to think as soon as the train starts, he just like face plants the desk.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give the ladies back their bag of jewelry.
Oh, the bag, you mean?
But after about 20 minutes in, I then start to feel bad. I'm like, oh, well, actually,
yeah, that's
go
fair.
on then.
Yeah, they'll graciously accept. They've calmed down them now. The younger one that seems more level-headed is definitely like, well, let's say that she hasn't like calmed them down. She's picked both of the crying girls up, just given them a hard slap and gone, "Get your shit together. This literally happens all the time. Why are you so stressed out?" And yeah, then they're all fine. They're grateful for the returned jewelry, and the ride continues as normal. And eventually, you will rock up in the city of Genoa, which is an old sort of it's an old town that is on the boundary of, say, Nevada and California. It's sort of an old trading post town, quite a hubbub of activity. Like for this type of time period and setting, it's also quite a large establishment. Obviously, it has a rail link, which was very like pioneering for that time. If it's a colony and a post that's got access by rail, then it's definitely got some activity about it. And yeah, you will pull in, and the ladies will thank you very much, and sort of with a bit of a quake in the knees, they'll kind of depart and scurry off the track. There'll be people waiting on the platform for obviously the train that would have been returning, but looking at it, they just sort of like, it's not even a look of shock. It's more a look of, oh God, now we're gonna have to wait longer for this to be sorted out. It's just an inconvenience for them that an attempted robbery has happened more than anything.
As we're getting off, are there any like baggage carts or anything?
What? Oh, you mean on the actual train?
On the train or on the platform? Just some kind of cart.
What are you looking for specifically?
I need something to put this body on.
Ace will just have it over his shoulder when we step off the train.
Okay.
Okay, you do get a few weird looks from that. A few audible gasps, and people do definitely step out.
If anyone looks at me, I just do the classic.
Yeah, and then
this guy's head is clearly cracked open and dripping with blood, and we're just swimming. Too many whiskeys.
I mean, they see the dripping blood trail that's falling behind him. There is a sort of guard on the train that sort of sees this scene unfolding and goes, hold it right there, and stops. And then he steps up towards you and sort of asking you what's going on. But the conductor joins you at that point and sort of recounts the story of basically what's happened, and it puts him at ease, basically.
As soon as the conductor finishes, I go, and that should mean you should mind your own goddamn business when someone steps off the train with a corpse now, shouldn't it? And then I just walk on.
Are you where are you planning on heading with your corpse?
Just out into the street. I want to do a bit where I go, smell that city air, but it just reeks of corpse because I've got it over my shoulder.
Yeah, so you're turning a lot of heads. I'm not gonna lie. This is drawing a lot of it, like less so than like people who wait for trains are kind of used to seeing this kind of a bit of violence, a little bit of stuff because they know trains are targeted normally. People who walk through the streets are not used to seeing dead bodies being sprawled about, so they are quite shocked. And you do get a couple of constables come up to you and they do stop you, and they're like, "Come, seriously, man, like, what the hell do you think you're doing?"
Ah, you're just who I'm looking for. Can you put us towards the sheriff's office?
And why would I do that?
Oh, sorry. I understand not everyone's eyesight is up to scratch. That's a fucking dead body.
I can see that. Now, why would I... And he puts his hand sort of round the back of his hip. Now, why would I listen to what you're telling me, boy?
I lean down and go, well, one of two things is obviously about to happen. Either A, we're going to turn ourselves in for a murder, and I look over at the corpse, I look at him and I go, or B, probably like a bounty or something. I thought you want something about this body of the sheriff.
If you've got a bounty there, boys, maybe that's something you want to announce before you just parade through our main street.
I don't know if it's a bounty, but I know that the professor, and he's a learned man, wants to go to the sheriff.
Oh, I see. It requires my apologies, and I'm just gonna go and grab like a box of apples or something, a crab apples, turn it upside down, put it up, put it down, stand up. Beautiful town of Genoa.
People all.
We have procured a bounty.
Ooh.
At that point, I unhook the guys from his shoulder, like lean him, he's floppy, but I lean him on his knees, and then I like grab his face so everyone can see his face, and I'm like, you gotta
hold the applause.
That's still not really doing much for me. Who's this?
Who are you? I don't know. I'm dead.
This is one-eyed, brown-eyed Willie. I can't remember his name. I just pull out the page. This one?
He looks, he examines it, he takes it from you. I assume it's like detached it. He takes it from you and looks, sort of relaxes. Right, that seems to be in check, but we'll take this from here now, gents. I think you don't seem to be looking too.
Are you sure? And I'm making the corpse's jaw move.
Can you seriously, like, can you please stop that? Like,
that would actually be very helpful. You could just give us the $20 here. We'll be on our way. You get to deal with the body. Perfect.
I can give you a voucher. These new things have been invented. I don't carry that kind of cash on me, but I'll give you something that you can go and claim that bounty at another time. But for now, I really am going to have to insist that you please stop messing with that corpse. The other guy that's kind of with him is, you can tell he's like definitely like trying to keep it together. He's trying to look serious, but he's like the kind of look someone gets when they're trying not to throw up.
If he does that, me and the corpse look at him.
He turns around at that point, walks off like, seriously, boys, like this. Just fucking leave him there. I'll take him from here.
Fully just let go of him, so he flops in the mud.
And he takes out a sort of piece of paper, a notebook, and starts to scrawl something. Folds it up and hands it to you, and he goes, "That's got my official seal on it. You take that into the sheriff's office, and then you'll get your reward. However, I must ask, looking at the state of you boys, you probably look like you can use a bit of freshening up first. And lady, my apologies." He looks at Marianne at the back.
I point at Icy's feet and go, "Excuse me, sir. Those are new boots."
I'm sure they are, and I'm sure you guys have been quite profitable. Had a quite profitable day.
but you also look like shit in my town, and y'all leaving a blood trail wherever you walk.
I look back and I look at the blood trail like, do you know where I can get a bath?
Well, I can point you towards old William Davis's saloon. It's quite a reputable establishment around here. Go get yourselves a good night's rest. Get yourselves freshened up.
Away, good sir.
Well, I'm not done talking yet, son. So maybe
Oh,
let me finish before I point you in the right direction. I'm just giving you all the lay of the land here. Please
Right.
don't do
Yeah.
that again.
I remember asking for that when we got off the train. Yeah.
Well, if y'all just follow that down the way, trust me, you'll hear it before you see it, but there is a sign that'll point it out to you. Go get there, get yourselves freshened up, and go see the sheriff in the morning. The marshal. It's not a sheriff's office around here, it's a marshal's office. Might even have some more work that he could point you over.
Ooh, you fancy big city got a federal marshal.
Welcome to Genoa, boys.
And he sort of, at this point, he like grabs the guy who's like now dry heaving behind him by the scruff of the neck, and he goes, "You gotta learn this someday, boy," and pulls him towards the corpse. And they both, him very reluctantly and like protesting the whole time, take it under the arm and start to drag it away with the wanted poster that they've taken from you, but they've left you with the slip, obviously.
When he's like walked a little bit away, I lean in to Marianne. I go, "You see, Miss Marianne, the correct way to deal with police officers is make it more inconvenient for them to give you a fine than it is convenient to talk to you. All right, should we go?"
Cool. Are you heading down the street then?
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, as you're walking down this street, obviously it's sort of one main street on this town. The train station's at one end of it, and then you walk down the rest of it. And then yeah, you can see it's definitely a very it's a city that definitely lives up to the reputation that it appears to have. The buildings are well built, and they're sort of two-story, very decorated quite intricately. There's quite a lot of activity going around. You can see kind of as you walk along, there are tradesmen working. You walk past a man who's hammering on an anvil, obviously a smith with horseshoes and all sorts hanging up. You walk past a shop advertised as a trading post. There is a fabric shop, and eventually you do start to hear a bit of a ruckus going on, and you turn the building and you see the sign for the Davis Tavern, and you can hear the sort of bustle of activity inside as you walk up to it. Actually so it's got the cliche like swinging saloon doors, and just before you sort of get there, a body flies out of the window, gets smashed, and just flies out, and he just stands back up and walks back in through the doors, and then just before you enter, you hear the crack of a whip come from inside. And then you hear it.
I turn to the professor and go, "Sounds like my kind of lady hangs out here," and I slap him on the back and I stroll in.
As you stroll in, you can see there is a bit of a brawl that's been going on, and then you look to see, and the barman behind the bar is the one holding this whip, and he's just cracked it in the middle of the room, and he's not really got a lot of attention. One of the guys raises a bottle on your end, and he very skillfully flicks the whip again and wraps it round the bottle, and sort of the guy falls from his grip, and he's like, "The hell?" And he turns to see the bar, and the third time he whips it, and very, very skillfully just leaves a small gash on his cheek. And at that point, everyone's kind of quieted down and is watching this unfold. And he's like, "Are y'all done now?" And he looks, holding the whip still. And he kind of goes to do it, and everyone's like, recoils and tries. "That's what I thought."
And
then
like
he-
a good 20
then he
seconds of
wings
awkward
it.
silence. I just
Oh
hear
yeah,
it.
sort of everyone kind of like picks up chairs that have gone, and then like someone goes outside, like one of the other barkeeps goes outside, and you can hear like broken glass being like brushed away, and he spins the whip twice and flicks it back and catches it in a very neat loop, and like I say, clearly something he's used to handling. And then he looks towards the both of you and he goes, "Ah, new patrons, come on in, boys." And
I'm
lady,
to Ace and just go,
you know, as soon as you come in last, Marianne.
I mean,
That's effective.
she's probably used to that. I mean, she's grown up on her own. She's not ladylike in that sense. She's not with her white gloves and her frilly dress like the others on the train.
Nice. So yeah, what the barman has called you over. What would you like to do?
Garçon! Walk over. Professor, you want to stay here? Should we get a room?
Is the whipping extra? Give you a nudge.
I hope not.
I've found in my time, son, that normally you pull a gun on people, they know how to react. You show them you got a bit of skill with one of these, they don't know what to do, and they tend to just go back about their business.
I look at him and go,
You know-
well, I'd shoot you, but that's just me.
Plenty of
I have
people
the
have
same effect
tried.
with this. And pull out my slingshot.
Oof. You boys are clearly new around here.
Please, can you address the third member of our party, Miss Mary Ann? And I introduce him, and I go, she is the Devil Belle of Montana. Where the fuck are you from?
I mean, probably a town doesn't even have a name. Let's be honest.
Some ranch somewhere out in the sticks.
Of Montana. I don't know if she's from Montana, but she's the Devil Belle of Montana. Everyone asks, you say that.
Well,
I'm gonna promptly order like a pint.
Oh,
So nothing
absolutely.
delicate about it, like a full-on pint.
Oh, absolutely. Coming right up. And he slaps a wooden tankard down and kind of pulls back this large handle. You hear it sort of frothing as he pours it. And he plonks it down in front of you and is like, and for you, gents.
I will have a Cabernet Sauvignon Blanc. Thank you.
He pulls out another wooden tankard and pours you exactly the same drink.
That is
As
not
long as
mine,
I'm
but
running, he's
I
like,
will
what kind of
drink it
fucking place
anyway.
do you think I'm running here, boy?
Well, you live in a city. You big city folks got wine, don't you?
Maybe.
Mad at taste.
Just a water for me, please.
He holds a wooden tankard up. And he goes, go on then. You look like a fine gentleman. You don't look like you could handle one of these, am I right? And he winks at the other two.
Yeah. Yes.
That man will literally turn your bones inside out. I've seen him do it. He is terrifying. I would not mess. I'm gonna be honest. I'm probably the only one of my companions that you should mess with, because they will fucking kill you. They're stone cold murderers.
Yeah, he takes a glass and there's for your water. He's like, give it. Pulls out a rag and then fills it up from a barrel that he's got in the corner. And there you go, sir. Only the finest for you.
Thanks.
Very good, boys. Now, I've been hearing some rumors. You guys made quite an entrance. I heard that everybody knows. From the walk to here, I heard stories of you. You've been making a name for yourselves.
What are they saying exactly?
Well, they're saying, look at those fucking lunatics walking down High Street with a corpse.
I thought as much. We actually brought down a pretty big criminal, and we kind of saved some people in this city. I would assume. You're welcome.
I've been hearing about that. Is that old blind eye Brown?
Yeah, left eye, brown eye, Derek. That's the one. One and the same.
Must be his brother.
Nope, it's the one. Two pistols, posse of guys, got a horse that meanders around.
Oh yeah, I heard that horse got kicked in the head by another horse.
It would seem that way, yes.
Well, I have to say, boys, it's a pleasure to have you here. I know I'm the only saloon in town, but you know what? You still decided to come here. And for that, I am grateful.
I'm going to need a room for us three, if that is a service that you offer. And I, myself, am going to need a bathtub and a new shirt.
Well, for you folks, I have absolute premium rate rooms. And I think I'm going to be able to find a room for each of you. And as he says that, he bangs on the door. And then one of the other barkeepers is like, we need to clear out some room upstairs. These folks are going to be staying in the nice rooms. And he sort of runs off at that point. You start to hear a bit of commotion upstairs as people are clearly protesting the fact that they're being moved out. And he's like, now, my rates are not exactly what you can get. I can definitely sell you cheaper quarters, but if you all can spare me $1 a night, I'll get you the finest experience you can have here.
Tell you what, I pull out $3, give it to him. I got this one.
Your companion's mighty generous.
I
And he
just put my
slides
hand on the
forward.
dollars before he takes them. Just go. I only have one request. Could you please get me the room furthest away from everybody else? The night terrors, they keep me up. I believe your other patrons don't want to hear me screaming in the middle of the night.
They are our nicest rooms, sir. I can assure you they are completely private. He's still got his hand like on the bar with the money. Presumably, you're like stopping him from taking it.
Yeah. I'm just looking at him for a couple of seconds. Okay.
And and his stare goes cold for a second, and then as soon as you release, he's like, an absolute pleasure. He pockets the money inside his jacket. Will it be another round?
I need a bath. And I look at the shirt that's still got the gun, because the shirt's still ripped with the gun hole bullet, and it's like there's still like dried blood there, and I'm like, I'm going to need a bath.
I have to say, I can't give you a bath, son, but we don't do any kind of laundry service. You might want to be visiting the trading post, seeing if you can get yourself some replacement threads. I can definitely give you a bath.
I look around the bar and see if anyone looks like vaguely my shape and size.
There is, looking around the bar, make a perception check for me.
I'll make you a perception check for you. I can do that for you, sir. For 10 plus perception insight, right? So 14.
14. So yeah, you can look around the bar. You can see there was some attention still on you, but there was a lot of attention on you when you came in after the brawl had happened, because obviously people did recognize you by your look, not necessarily by your faces, but by the fact that you were blood soaked and obviously looked a bit rough and ready. And then the conversation has all kind of turned about. You can't really. There is no one that you can really see. A lot of the people that are in here are quite thick set. They're not really burly, sort of like lean types. They're definitely all very much much like the barman himself. They tend to be a bit more plump and like older gentlemen. There are a couple of guys that are sort of they're quite short, so they definitely wouldn't fit. Like anything that they've got on probably wouldn't fit you. It'd probably look like that scene in Shrek, where he puts the clothes on for the first time, and it's like. But yeah, though, like nothing you see. You do notice I'll give you this at the back. There are a couple of gents that seem to be in the midst of sort of like a blackjack game, but they haven't really been paying much attention to anyone. But that's going on just in the background. And then yeah, other than that, everyone else just seems to be licking their wounds from the brawl and enjoying their drinks.
So, is there anyone of my build?
Not really, no. Nothing that you can tell from that. Just that you can rob clothes from.
I'm not going to rob them. I'm going to win them. What about the bartender?
The bartender again is quite stout and plump. He sees you. He does see you. Giving it was like, I don't know what kind of services you're expecting from me, but I think you might be in the wrong place, son. If you're giving me those kinds of looks.
I'm just sizing you up. Anyway, I'm gonna go buy a shirt. You two have fun. And I clap my companions on the back and I go try find a tailor then.
Are you all going?
I was going to turn around to the barkeep and say, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take another drink. I'll turn around kind of as you're leaving. So, I like the city.
Well, it's got plenty more to offer you, miss, and you'll be settled in here quite well. He pours you another drink. Quickly, we'll just jump over. So you head down the road just to find a trading.
Whatever I have to spend on a shirt, I'll buy a new shirt.
Yeah, for flavor, we'll say you can pick up a new like cotton shirt. We'll call it 50 cent. You can pick one up for. Have it trimmed, then you've got a new shirt on.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take my flagon of water and go and look for the marshal's office.
Yeah, so you can head out. You can head out at this point. The street is kind of getting onto the evening time now. The time that's passed is kind of in the evening. So you do find sort of around the corner from the salon the sign for the marshal, but it's locked and there's no one there currently. Like there's, like I say, it's about 8 o'clock in the evening now, so you know where it is.
Bang on the door. I'm gonna bang on the door anyway. Bang.
Yeah, there's no response. There's no like.
Excuse
there's no, like,
me. I have a piece of paper that says I got some money.
So there's a guy sort of sat down there, like with his head sort of hanging down his arms. He kind of at the noise looks up at you. They're back open in the morning. He's never working past sundown. And his head kind of droops again.
Thank you, sir.
And
Is he the same size as Ben?
he kind of like falls like forward and just sort of vomits on himself.
Same question still. is he about the right size?
Do you make a perception check for me? Have you got perception?
No.
Just roll 3d6 then and see what your number you get.
I love that they're all trying to get close for me for free.
It's a 9.
It's a 9. Looking at him, you can probably like he's similar sort of build. Like it's probably you're not really sure of the height because he's currently like lying face down like on the ground. But looking at him, like he's got a hat on that like seems to match the kind of hat that Ace was wearing, and he's wearing a sort of long jacket that would probably fit anyone. Boots. I mean, I know you're looking at them like maybe, but that's all you can really. You can't really like take his measurements or anything.
Sir, I'm a doctor, and it's a very, very warm day today. You shouldn't have that jacket on. But equally, I wouldn't want it to go to waste. Could I give you a couple of cents for your jacket?
You can hear him kind of like hiccuping, like he's about to vom again. Just still like face in the dirt, or like face down.
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear you. You were gagging.
So he tries to lift his head up and then just it falls into the dirt again.
I'm gonna remove his jacket and leave like 3 cents in front of him.
I'm not gonna make you roll for that. There is absolutely no resistance. He's just sort of like you roll him to one side, and his like face like rolls over in the dirt to the other, and then you take his other and he rolls again, and he's just like there's nothing. Like he's completely limp at that point.
Yeah, I'm gonna neck my water, put the 3 cents in the cup and leave it with him, and take the jacket. Thank you, sir.
Nice one. So, do you head back at that point to the saloon?
Yeah.
Cool. What's the others doing? You've found a bath, I presume. You gone back to the saloon as well and found a bath, Ace?
Yeah.
Cool. So you've headed upstairs in the bath. Are you still at the bar?
Yeah, I'm gonna sit at the bar and kind of watch and see what's going on. This is very exciting being in a big city like this.
Sorry, are you under the impression I took the bath upstairs? No, Ace is having the bath in the bar. He wants a beer at his bath at the same time.
Take the beer upstairs with you. There are no baths in the bar. If you wanted to pay them to haul one downstairs for you, you could probably pay them for it. But
They've only got to haul the tin thing, and then they don't have to bring the water upstairs. Really, I'm doing them a favour.
Now, I know in character I'm a scientist, but out of character, Ben, I don't need to be a scientist to tell you it's easier to take your beer to the bath than it is bring the bath to the beer.
Well, no, because if there's no hot water in the bath, it's easier to move the bath downstairs because then they can fill it up with hot water quicker.
the bath is currently not downstairs, so the logistical challenge is null and void.
I would still argue it's easier to carry
But I want it to be in the middle of the saloon or in a bath for the atmosphere.
Oh, you
do you.
What? Give me a second, because this is going to be our big finale to this episode.
Yeah, Jordan, look up the rules for baths in bars.
One final skill check. Where's the chapter on baths in saloons? Hang on. What skills do you have, Ace? Give me your skills
Empathy,
then.
perception, range, combat, arts, or conceal.
Not sure you can conceal a bath.
Yeah.
Tell you what, give me an arts check based on wits. And this will be based on Is it empathy? No, insight or wit? Wits. Give it wits.
You want an arts check?
Yes.
Well, as I was telling you again, barkeep, everyone knows the ambiance down here is way better I say, that's my arts check. So that's
This is what we're trying to do. You're trying to use your skill in the arts to convince the barkeep that he should have a bath in the bar.
It's the
area
ambience. That's a 17.
That will do it. The man will be like, you know what, son? You've opened my eyes. You have brought me some culture that I did not know I was missing out on. He claps his hands twice, and the same sort of young lad that he sent to clear out the bedrooms earlier is like, go clear out the bathhouse. We're making some changes down here. And very quickly you hear the same commotion upstairs, but much louder. And then very quickly you see like a man running down the stairs in just a little towel.
Yeah, I'm getting him to move my bathtub next to the blackjack table, and I'm going to be playing blackjack while in the bath.
I love that. That is amazing. So you're playing blackjack you're playing blackjack for the rest of the night, drinking and sat in a bath, and apparently everyone is on board with this. It's got to that point in the evening now where everyone's a bit too drunk to even notice or care. Mary Ann is drinking them all under the table. Like,
I'm gonna turn around to the doctor and just like, does he normally do that? Is that what you do here? Like, this very confused.
Mary Ann,
I'm going with it, but
on a day-to-day basis, there is nothing that this man does that he normally does. In fact, I've not seen him do the same crazy thing twice.
okay then.
so you're just sat at the bar, I guess, you two just having a chat.
Well, I'm gonna find a corner somewhere, or at the bar. I'm gonna be surrounded with books, and I'm just going to spend the night crafting a small doll out of linen sacks and straw. Just a small doll. No characteristics, just a doll.
Cool.
I'll go find some locals then.
Yeah, you can do that. He's sat at the bar doing whatever. You get bored after 20 minutes and go off and just mingle with some other guys at the bar who are mighty impressed by you. They want to know everything of your tales of the day. Ace is sat there at the back, playing some blackjack again. Most people in the bar are pretty drunk at this point. They're kind of minding their own business. There is one group that is sat right at the back, and they're sort of sat by them looking like one of them, 3 guys, one of them sat with his feet up on the table, looking at each of you in turn with a very intent and serious look on his face. And we'll leave it there for the week.
Awesome.
You don't notice that. We'll just say that there's a man who's taken an interest in you. We'll keep that as our ending shot of the sheet. And we'll leave it there for now. Cool. Pick this up again next week. We'll go visit the marshal and see what he's got for you.
The fancy U.S. Marshal. A federal marshal in the big city. Hooey!
I tell you what, that accent is so addictive. I'm trying to play like a sort of like posh British. I've travelled across the ocean, and several times throughout that, I kept picking up the typical cowboy accent. It's very
what you might know,
infectious.
like what I love about it is, whilst I can do it reasonably well, I can only do it one way. So everyone you meet will sound the same.
That's fine.
Oh, it's good fun though. Thank you for that, guys. That was good. That's our
Yeah.
week 1 of our little 2-part Desperado session, and yeah, we look forward to seeing what it does next week.
I will
Over to
now
you, Ben.
take back the power of the host.
No,
Ah!
I want it.
Right.
What you gotta
Thank
do with
you,
it?
everyone, for watching another great stream here on The Flickering Torch. We have been the Variant Rules. We will now do our shout-outs and our plugs, and we will start today with our wonderful guest. Thank you for joining us. Naomi, please give any shout-outs and plugs you might want to give, if you've got any to give.
No, is the short answer. I don't have really an online presence. I'm very old-fashioned in my gaming, but absolutely check out these guys. Plugs there. They're very good guys. Worth looking at.
Oh, warm in my little heart. Right, we will jump over to the GM for this game, The Uninformed RPG. Please give your plugs and your shout-outs and your Twitter handles and your YouTube handles and your Twitch handles and your other handles.
Nice one. Thank you very much, Ben. So, as he says, I am Uninformed RPG on YouTube and on Twitter at Uninformed RPG, where you can find me on YouTube doing videos about being sort of very much a new player in this kind of hobby, sort of coming in
with not very much experience, at least compared to these guys, in terms of playing games and running them. And yeah, just my tips and advice for anyone who's interested in getting more involved in it. So yeah, check it out, like I say.
Awesome, Ace, lovely. And you, Cernade, in the corner from our good friend D&D Prophet's room for some reason. Can you give your plugs and shout-outs, please?
That was a good outro. So yeah, you probably kind of gathered I'm Cernade. I'm one half of the Off-Topic duo, which you can find over on the YouTube. We do run a live show, typically every other Monday, over on my Twitch channel, Cernade. However, at the moment, we've taken a bit of hiatus in that, and there's not a logical reason other than the fact that we are loving Sea of Thieves. So, so pretty much every Monday, myself, Flickering Torch, and this lovely gentleman here, will be playing Sea of Thieves every Monday. It's been really fun so far. So yeah, come check it out. It's kind of growing week on week because we are terrible at pirating.
So bad at Sea of Thieves.
So bad. For a game marketed as like a family children's-esque type game, we're pretty poor.
Yeah. Yeah, but we finished the first Tall Tale though, so I mean, who's the real winner? Us.
Didn't feel like a win.
Yeah, that felt like a win to me. I mean, after we drove away from the island, not realizing we hadn't finished and then drove back, it was all good.
This is why streaming games is important, because chat basically saved our entire night of gaming by screaming at us, going, "You haven't done the thing!
You've not finished yet!" Oh,
that should be the tagline for this stream. You haven't done the thing.
You haven't done the thing, yeah.
And I will do my plugs, so take that power back! Everyone, you can find me over on youtube.com/flickeringtorch for the VODs of these streams, and also occasionally some opinion pieces, some reviews, some general series. You can find me on Mondays over on twitch.tv/Cernade, or you can find me here on twitch.tv/flickeringtorch for our live games, our live plays that do the VODs eventually go up on YouTube. But you can talk to us. We read the chat when people say things. I post in there all the time. Come join us. Come have fun. The next big stream we've got after this Desperados 2-shot is called Sundered Realms. And it's going to be a really cool fantasy game, which is the first fantasy game that we've actually played over here on twitch.tv/theflickeringtorch. We've been the Variant Rules. We hope you've had a wonderful time watching us be gosh darn cowpokes. And we'll see you next week on Wednesday. Say goodbye, everyone. Bye. Bye now.
Yeah,
everyone.
Bye.